Alright Taiji fam, welcome back to another video with the Taiji Legacy. We are finally here again with another muscle up tutorial. Now we've been meaning to make this back when we were still making videos. We'll finally make this video and it's going to be a neutral grip muscle up. If you don't know, a neutral grip muscle up looks just like this. Ideally you want to put your strong hand on the pronated part. So my strong hand is my right hand, even though I'm left-handed. But yeah, so just like this, and then you're going to do a muscle up like so. That. So we've come up with a few things to structure this whole video. So it's going to be the new acronym for this whole structuring of every tutorial. If we do teach a move or if we do provide advice on exercise, on any kind of exercise, it's going to be PPST. So that's the prerequisites required in order to actually do the move, the progressions that's actually needed in order for yourself to actually be able to do the move. And then it's the strength part, which is the exercises in order to develop the strength in order to do the move. And then it's the tips or any kind of advice that we can give you in order to actually do the move effectively or even more easily, or even to get it a bit more faster. All right, so let's get into the video. Let's get it.
You don't fuck with a god.
So the first prerequisite is going to be normal muscle ups, at least kipping, right? You need to be able to do proficient muscle ups. If you can't do muscle ups, then you obviously won't be able to do neutral grip muscle ups. So the next one is going to be neutral high chest pull-ups. You need to be able to pull to the bottom of your chest or to the top of your chest at the very least in order to actually do this move. Okay, so the third and last exercise is going to be a very generic and easy one. It's just going to be normal, plain old explosive strength, and you need to be able to pull up just to the top of your chest. If you can't do that, then you're going to have to do a little bit more training in order to get to this part. Actually, getting to the first progression is going to be normal neutral pull-ups. Obviously, if you can't do neutral pull-ups, then you won't be able to do the neutral grip muscle up at all. It's very simple. Doing the neutral grip pull-ups will prime you up for the move. Just going to get you used to the first step of the exercise before jumping into the actual straight bar dips that's actually needed. And then we actually get into the second progression, which is the second part of the neutral grip muscle up, which is a straight bar dips but in a neutral grip position. Very simple. It works the second part or second step of the neutral grip muscle up. Is going to make it a lot easier if you're training on both parts of the move. So ideally, when trying to get any calisthenic move that is a bit difficult from the norm, that you don't really see a lot of people doing, it's really ideal for you guys to dissect how the move is, what muscles it uses, and then you have to incorporate all the things that is necessary in order to actually do that move. So that revolves around, as we're doing right now, the prerequisites, what you need, and then progressions, tips. So the next one is actually going to be neutral grip pull-ups again. However, you're not going to just be going up and down normally. This time you're actually going to explode as high as you can. With me personally, how I got my muscle up, or how I knew that I could do a muscle up, wasn't by the amount of numbers or the amount of pull-ups that I could do. I know some of you guys are watching this video and you go on those videos. If you're trying to get your muscle up right now, there's a lot of people who says if you can do 10 pull-ups then you can muscle up. I highly disagree with that, just because the muscle up is totally different from a normal pull-up. It's a different movement, your body's in a different position, and your body needs to actually adapt to that kind of movement. So same thing with here. You're not just going to be doing normal, strict everything. You're also going to be doing explosive stuff, alright? Okay, so the very next one is going to be wrist turns. So with the wrist turns, what it's trying to do is mimic or just complete a bit more than half of the exercise. So let's say you're trying to attempt the move right now. What you want to do is, just as the previous progression was, the neutral grip explosive pull-up, this time as you're going up and pulling as high as you can, as soon as you reach your peak height or just before that, you want to turn your wrist. When you guys do get more strict and when you guys actually perfect the muscle up, you can really use less of your explosive strength, less of your upper body strength, and make it more of just a technique exercise. So if I were to demonstrate the move right now, I'll demonstrate two variations of the muscle up, right? I'll do just doing it, and then I'll just emphasize on the technique. So this is me just doing it. That's me just doing it, and then I'll just emphasize on the wrist turn or on the lean. I did it a lot slower, but I barely used any strength there. When it comes to the transition part, I just transitioned and I just leaned over the bar. I just used the momentum that drove me down and I just accelerated my body up. Now the first one is going to be explosive neutral. So basically, as we said before, high chest, you just be doing the same thing just like that. And the next one is going to be jump muscle ups. Fairly simple, just like a normal jump muscle up. This time you're switching grips. It's going to be alternating grip. You're going to be doing the same thing. But make sure when you do these alternating grip or jump muscle ups, you're trying to emphasize more on the supinated wrist turn. Trying to emphasize more on a supinated transition, because that is going to be the hardest one. If there are any of you guys trying to learn the bicep muscle up, you know for a fact you have to incorporate a lot of negative muscle ups in the chin up position. So the next one is going to be negatives. I don't really have to talk about that, just do negatives. The next one is going to be neutral front dips, but just make sure when you are doing the neutral front dips or neutral straight bar dips, when you're doing it, you want to go as low as possible. Okay, and so the last one is just going to be wrist turns. If you guys are really strategically and you're really committed to learning this move, it is cool to do, especially when we went to Bondi before and I was cracking out the close neutral grip pull-ups when the rest of the adults couldn't do it, and I think I was like, was 16 at the time. I don't know, we were showing them up. The whole Taiji crew was showing them up. Alright, so the first tip is going to be incorporate all the other muscle up techniques or muscle up tips that we have previously discussed before. Now if you guys don't know, we have made a lot of muscle up videos before, a few months back when we actually took our break because we were doing our HSC. Now some of the muscle up techniques that we have discussed before was the PTL and the crocodile technique. If you guys don't know this, if you guys want to learn this, just check out our previous videos. You'll probably just scroll through, you'll be able to find them out pretty quickly, and it will make this exercise a lot easier. So specifically with the neutral grip muscle up, when you're doing it, you obviously want to be able to pull equally. You don't want to try to pull more or harder on your strong side. Now I know for a lot of people, when they do any kind of exercise, they tend to lean on their strong side. With push-ups, muscle ups, straight bar dips, people tend to lean on their stronger side just because it feels a bit more comfortable. Same thing here, you want to try to stray away from that. With this, be in the middle of where you're pulling up, but also when you're pulling up, pull equally. But even though you're pulling equally, you still want to emphasize a bit more on the pronated turn. Now I know you guys might be asking why not focus more on the supinated turn, even though the supinated turn is a bit harder. This is just because the pronated turn is a bit easier. So this is going to prime yourself up for the chicken wing phase, which is another progression, but I didn't really feel that it had to be said. But yeah, so when you're pulling up, pull equally, and then emphasize more on the pronated turn. Okay, so the very next tip is going to be a very easy one. Now this is going to be narrow your grip, but to be honest with you guys, when I do the neutral grip muscle up, I find it easier when my grip is a lot more narrow. And obviously the next two and the last two is going to be practice. Without practice, there's no perfect, all right? So practice makes perfect. Just get out there and actually try to attempt this move. Actually watching this video right now, actually go to your nearest park, nearest gym, whatever, just attempt this move. And obviously the next one as well is to actually try to emphasize more on your explosive pull-up train. All right, when you go into every single back bicep pull workout, try to emphasize more on your explosive endurance. All right, when I mean explosive endurance, we spoke about this before, how to increase your explosive endurance, basically trying to be able to perform a high amount of reps being explosive while trying to maintain that pull-up strength. Or with our back lat push-ups, if you push all the way back, and it's easy, you want to be able to do that for a high amount of reps. You don't want to be able to just do 1 rep, 2 reps, easy, and then a few more reps, and then you become a lot weaker. So that sums up everything for you guys. This is going to be our first tutorial from our comeback. But yeah, it's basically a very simple move, and I believe it's probably one of the easiest moves you guys can learn, apart from all the other hard moves like the planche, which I myself can't do, but the human flag, which is a bit more complicated, more on the technique side. But yeah, so me and James have long hair. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys for watching that video. The video after our official comeback. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We're back. We're back.
Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I'm not getting up on time. I'm not going to work on time. I'm not putting in 120% when I'm at work. I let me down. And when you get to the point where you can say you let you down, I don't care. Listen to me, no disrespect. I don't care about Glenn. That's not why I do what I do. And I love Glenn. I don't come here and do what